Okay, today we're going to talk about feet. There's a really good esoteric saying which does not relate to riding, but I'm going to relate it to riding anyway, which is as above, so below. And what that essentially means is that whatever's happening up here will be reflected down here and vice versa. So if we are tense or unstable or not mobile through the middle, our feet are going to be tense and unstable, and it's going to be part of the combination of our legs swinging around. So I'm going to actually see if I can move you down here to show you. Let's see what this does. So obviously I don't have stirrups to put my feet into, and this is a slightly different angle. Nothing is like being on a horse exactly. But there we go. If I am trying to rise from my stirrups, let's say to do a posting trot, then my toes are all pretty relaxed one next to the other, and I have these folded angles in my joints, and I just rise and fall with no change really in my foot. So my ankle bends, my knees bend, my hip bends, and my core comes from my midsection as always, and so my foot does not have to do anything funky to compensate. Now let's say I'm riding like a really bumpy trot, and the horse is getting really fast, and I start to kind of go into fetal position. Then there's a couple things that might happen. I might get onto my toes and start posting on the front of the saddle and kind of land on my crotch. And then what happens is my ankle locks, and it starts to thrust me up higher than I want to go in my posting. And so I will clench my thigh as a result to kind of try to stabilize that. So my toes will actually kind of scrunch up together, and then maybe I'll scrunch my knees or I'll stick my knees out. Either way, my feet and my ankle are now very stiff. Another thing that happens to a lot of people is as they post up, they'll rise onto their toe and their leg will start to swing back and forth. I can't do that because I'm not in the saddle. But as they are leveraging up in their toe, their leg will swing backward and forward. Or as the horse gets faster and faster and faster and faster, they start to slide their feet forward and they start to post on the back of the saddle instead of being able to post in the middle of the saddle. So a horse socks, just to be able to show you today, you want to have all of your toes pretty relaxed and spread out. And something I tell people a lot of times when they're posting or cantering and their feet start to lock up and scrunch into their toe and they start to leverage onto the stirrup, is to relax their toes apart so that the ankle can function by absorbing the concussion of the movement. Because if the toes get tight, then I'm actually going to be blocking the energy of the horse's movement into my ankle and my knee and my hip, and you're even going to feel it in your jaw. So if my toes can be relaxed, then I have a springy ankle where I can go up and down and up and down. But the minute I tension my toes, I lose all of that fluidity and I'm not able to go with the horse's motion. So then I have to basically leverage myself up and control myself down. And in the posting trot, that turns into a double bounce. So that turns into, instead of landing once in the center, we get the bump, 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 which is very uncomfortable for the horse, but it's also impossible to get the horse to give their back. So nobody's going to have a good time with that. So think about your feet being spread equally in your boots, and then as you raise up and down, I try to tell people, feel the whole ball of your foot spread out so that you're not rolling onto the outside of the foot to get up, the toes to get up, or you're not pushing your feet forward to get up. Any of those things are going to take your core out of the picture and completely destabilize your seat, as well as lock your hip joint. So today we're thinking about feet.